What up, y'all? I just wanted to do a little update. I've come a little bit farther in how I've been doing my handles. So I wanted to do a video where I just show you guys what I've been doing for trimming and how I do my handles. So we're gonna get into this right quick and we'll show you what's up. So let's take a peek. All right, so the first thing we gotta do here is we gotta get our handles going. There's quite a few ways to do handles, you know. I pull my handles. So I always start with my pre-wedged clay. These are about 15 ounces each. And I only have 10 mugs right now to put handles on. So I figure this will probably be just the right amount. So we're gonna go ahead and just wedge up this clay. I do a ram's head wedge, so it's nothing special. They call it the American wedge. Some people do, but it's just a ram's horn. That's why they call it that, because it kind of resembles like a ram's head, I guess, because of that shit, you know. So we'll get that wedged up, and then what I do here. Let me show you guys what I do. Here, I gotta put my apron on. All right, so this is what we do with it. First of all, why do we spray the apron down? We spray the apron down because the dry clay does give you cancer. So that's why we do it. Alright, so what do we do with this? I pretty much will just wedge it into a nice turd, you know? And I'll roll it out sometimes a little bit. But you want it to be a pretty decent sized turd, you know? I hesitate to call it a coil because although it is a short, thick coil, it's more of a turd. So this is what we pretty much got here. How's it look? Pretty good? And then we'll make two of these. So we got one. We'll wedge up the next one. Sorry if the camera shakes a little bit. Again, this tripod sucks, so I actually have to put it on my wedging table, which isn't the most sturdy table, to be honest. Not super stoked on this table, but you know, at some point we'll make a new one. Alright, so that's pretty much good. Doesn't need to be crazy wedged. I already wedged this clay before, so we'll just do a little bit of a roll here, like we're doing a coil. Get it to be a nice horse turd here. Alright. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it, you know. So we got two of these fucking donger things. All right. So what's next? Next, well, we gotta fucking pull the handles. So we're gonna get on that right now. I can see it. That's all that matters to me. So let's go ahead and get this. So what I do is I grasp the log, the clay, by the top here, and then we just start pulling our handle to our shape. You know, you just want to be consistent with your pulls. You don't want to drag ass. You don't want to fucking do anything that's gonna fuck up your log here. So what we do is we just keep even, consistent pull. You also don't want to pull it too thin, guys, so keep that in mind too. Sometimes you gotta do the bottom half a little bit more. So let's see, we'll get that at the top. And that's pretty much good. This is pretty much what we're looking for right here. So we'll snip this off. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. Maybe I'll show you in the next slide here. I just take my length. Yeah, here, I'll just real quick, I'll just bring you guys over here, show you what I'm doing. All right, so I know you guys can see that. So yeah, pretty much just lay this out here. I kind of guess the size of the handle. You know, they don't need to be too long for the blanks. So I just lay it out. I lay my length of clay, and then I just use the side of my thumb here, and I just snip it off to the side of the table. That's all you need to do. So yeah. And see these two length, this should be enough. Sometimes you get left with this. You can sometimes try to get an extra handle out of that if you want. Sometimes I will. Just because there's no sense in wasting it, I guess. So we'll get an extra handle out of that. We'll throw this little nub in the reclaim. And then we'll do our next one here. BRB for that. All right, I figure I better just show you guys this. Just snip off these last few here. And we'll get on trimming here in a second. So yep, let's just get this out. All right, just like that, boys. Throw that in the reclaim. All right, now we got enough handles. They're not all perfect, they're not all great. They don't need to be. It's not what they're here for. They're here to just be the blanks. Show you in a minute. Let's get on trimming. All right, so what do we do for trimming? I got a selection of chucks over here. We're gonna take this one. This is our guy. What is a chuck? A chuck is a piece of thrown clay. Here, let me get this out for you. So a chuck is a piece of clay that you throw solidly. Whether it be like this or not solidly. I don't know how to explain it. This one is just a piece that I can set my mugs on so I don't have to center every single one. I'll show you how that works right now. All right, boys. So we got our chuck on the wheel and we got a few nubbins. What are the nubbins for? Well, we're gonna roll them into small coils real quick. Get that out of the way. Roll them into small coils, and we'll use that to hold our chuck on the wheel head here. So let's get this thing centered. We tap center, so it's rhythmic. You know, you need to have a little bit of rhythm to get this. So you need to practice. And that's about centered there. So we're gonna hold it down. And then we're gonna just stick our nubbins of clay on the wheel head just like this. All right, now we're like totally good to go. Now we're totally good to go. So what's next? Next I show you how I trim the mugs. Let me just remove my plastic from the mugs here. All right, boys. So let's get on trimming. We got our chuck centered. We got our mug. This is how I do it, guys. A lot of people do this differently, but I just kind of get my wheel going, and I just kind of try to center it like this, you know. It really doesn't need to be absolutely perfect because the mug itself is not perfect. So I'm going to take a good chunk of this clay off here on the rim, or the rim of the bottom, that is. And we'll also hit the outside a little bit. Clean a little bit that outside off. Just a tad, just a smidgen. Alright. And guys, that's pretty much it. The only other thing we'll do here is I do take a metal rib to the bottom. Let me get my kidney here. I prefer the kidney. This is like more of a pointy finishing shape here, but I like the kidney myself. So I'll take that and I'll just smooth out the bottom. I don't even know if you guys can see me smoothing out the bottom like that. I think so. But yeah, and that's pretty much it, boys. We'll just give it one final touch up. And then, yeah, that's it. That is it, guys. We just need to do that basically 10 times. So we'll get on that here. Maybe I'll time lapse it, maybe I won't. All right, so we trimmed on the chuck. We got 10 mugs totally done as far as being trimmed. Now we just need to connect our handles. This one might be a little tricky to film, but you know, I'm gonna try. Let's get it. Few things that we always start with. We always start with our slit. I keep it in an old coffee tub. So we got our slip in there. Paintbrush for the slit. Fettling knife to cut off the ends, and then a serrated rib, so it's got like teeth on it. All right, so let's just get started with one of these. Let's see, we'll find one that's a little bit more solid. So what I do is I take my serrated rib and I will just, you know, kind of score around where I want to put the handle. I will put a little slip on there. Doesn't need to be beautiful, but we need to make sure it's slipped. And then we'll start with our handle blanks. So I like to take mine, I will wrap my fingers around the end there and I will just flatten it out. So that way there's a nice bit to connect to. So we end up with like a little sort of like a mushroom shape there. And then I will just stick her on there. So we'll make sure we get all around the side. Make sure that you blend it really well. Super important for this task that we blend it. Something that you can do if you don't want to fuck up your rim too much is you can put a little sour cream tub in there. And that'll help you to ensure that your rim stays nice and round. So now we have a handle attached to the mug. So what do we do now? We have to pull again. So this is what I do. I will dip the handle into the bucket, and then I will make sure that that connection is really good around the join. So I'll always go over that. And then we'll just start pulling. Some people prefer to let their handles dry a little bit before they attach them. I do not. I like my handles to be a little bit more wet just because I can control what I do with it. And I put 3 ribs in the sides of my handle, just like that. So, and then I hit it one more time. Double check, make sure my ribs are nice. And I'll show you guys. That's kind of what we're working with here. I hope you can see it. I also like to keep a jumper towel over here that I can just kind of wipe my hands off on. And then we'll attach the handle. I like to just kind of bring it up to the ceiling. You can kind of see we got it attached. And then let me show you what I'll do next. I'll do a smear, and a press. And then from there you can just whip off that little tail, and you pretty much got a solid shape there. So we'll just do a little fiddle here. We'll just wipe it down just a little bit, make sure everything's nice and smooth with a little water. And that's pretty much it, boys. That is pretty much it. We got a handle attached. Could use a little cleaning up, but generically speaking, that's what we're looking for, you know? So yeah, that's the first one done. We'll do another one on the video right quick, and then I'm gonna win the rest of these out. We'll see how this angle works. You know, so I'll do a little score around the rim, like I do. Put a little slip on there. Your slip doesn't need to be super watery, guys. It's basically clay glue. And then we got our handle blank. And again, I grip it and I tap it. And then I just make sure I get like a little mushroom topper. We'll connect it. And then I'll put my little yogurt in there. And now I just gotta make sure everything, this mug is really wet. So this one, I gotta be extra specially careful with, because I really don't wanna deform it. I left them covered, you know. Sometimes you leave your mugs covered a little too long and they don't dry enough by the time you wanna do the handles. All right, so we got that pretty much dry. We're gonna do our little dip like I told you guys. And then we're gonna try to clean up around the join, make sure everything's really solid. All right, and now we just pull. Sometimes you gotta change your orientation. It's important because you don't want your handle to like look all cockeyed or whatever. All right, so now we got basically our blank, and now we will do our little rib in the side, just like that. Now we got it, boys. We'll do one more. Clean as hell, right? I like to dry my hands off at this point. And then like I said, what we do is we just bring it up to the ceiling and we attach, make sure it looks good on there. Then we'll do a smear, and a divot, and then we'll wipe off the tail. Sometimes you gotta do a little extra cleaning on these ones. You know, it happens. Sometimes you just don't wanna fiddle with it too much. You don't want it to be too, you know, you want it to look sort of natural, even though you are making it, you are doing this. But yeah. So yeah, we'll get that cleaned up just a little bit. And some of this like tidying up you can do later on. So we got our handle on there. You know, it's not perfect, but that's pretty good, you know? That's what we're looking for. And yeah. So we'll get back once we finish all these off, and I'll show you guys how we polish off the video, how we polish off the mugs, that is. So yeah. All right. So we got all of our mugs done. We got 10 over there. Now we just need to put a little B on it. B. We're gonna stamp them. So yeah, let's just knock that out. I like to make sure that I got it the right way. And I got my homie making me a Bulls by Brody stamp too soon. So yeah, man, that's pretty much it. We got 10 mugs done. We threw them, we trimmed them, we handled them. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that maybe you learned something about pulling handles. I hope it was at least entertaining. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Feel free to subscribe. I love you guys, and we'll look forward to the next video. Thanks so much.